Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Newsroom series. I'm Olumide Macaulay. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, our focus is the Southwest region. Legal practitioner Mr. Dele Farotimi has been granted bail by a federal high court sitting in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State this morning. The court granted bail in the sum of 50 million naira with a surety in the same amount who must provide landed property as collateral. The presidential candidate of the African Action Congress in the 2023 election, Amayele Sowore, disclosed the court's decision via his X handle today. The tweet also said the first hurdle was crossed, as Dele Farotimi was granted bail of 50 million naira surety in like sum with someone with landed property. The case was adjourned till January 29, 2025. Channels Television learned that Professor Festus Semire, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, led the defense team before the Federal High Court today. Other bail conditions, as granted by the court, are that the surety must be resident in Ekiti State and must possess 3 years tax clearance for the property within Ekiti State. The surety is also to deposit title deed of the property with the registrar of the court. The surety and the defendant must also submit 4 recent passport pictures to the court. The defendant, Mr. Farotimi, is also deposit his international passport with the registrar of the court. Meanwhile, the organizers of the proposed protests against the arrest of the human rights lawyer, Mr. Dele Farotimi, over defamation charges, the Take It Back movement, have vowed to go ahead with this planned protest in Ekiti State, in Lagos State, in Abuja, as well as in London and Canada. Their insistence comes despite a warning by Ekiti State Police Command banning unlawful gathering, demonstrations, and the sale and use of fireworks across the state, citing concerns over public safety and security threats. In a statement signed by the state police spokesperson, Abutu Sunday, the command said any form of unlawful gathering, demonstration, or protest is unacceptable, adding that intelligence reports indicate plans by some individuals to exploit protests to incite violence and create panic. However, a flyer shared by the Take It Back movement on its official X handle on Sunday indicates the rally will hold in spite of the police directive. Elsewhere, former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has emphasized that the battle against corruption can be effective and successful if it begins with accountability amongst top government officials. He spoke on Sunday night during an interactive session called Boiling Point Agenda, hosted by a private radio station in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The former president says that tackling corruption at the highest levels of leadership will set an example for others and demonstrate the government's commitment to transparency and integrity. The conversation, which was aired by some private radio stations in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, focused on Chief Obasanjo's legacy in government and his assessment of today's Nigeria. Chief Obasanjo described corruption as a hydra-headed monster and one that has eaten up or deep into the fabric of Nigerian society, emphasizing that the fight against corruption must start with leadership for it to succeed. While describing corruption as the hydra-headed monster, the former president also submitted that the fight against the menace must be a constant and daily affair in order to nip it in the bud. He called for a change in the recruitment and appointment of leaders into public office, insisting that political appointments must be made on merit rather than political or tribal basis. He insists that only God makes a leader and whoever he ordains will succeed. The Ogun State government says it's initiating more necessary policy regulatory framework legislation as it establishes 4 sexual assault referral centers across the 4 zones of the state to ensure international best practices in the case of survivors of gender-based violence. State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Moturayo Adijat Dele, revealed this in Abeokuta, the state capital, during a town hall engagement with the critical stakeholders from communities across the state on the need to unite and speak out to end the gender-based violence in the state. While participants demand effective legislation and justice for victims, the Commission says about 300 people have been trained towards handling gender-based violence across the state.
That's the executive secretary The menace of gender-based violence is a long-standing, complex and global challenge and public health issue that affects both men and women, but mostly women and girls. This is often aggravated by cultural and religious beliefs, social and gender inequality, and lack of protective laws, leaving survivors brutalized and, in most cases, victims paying a heavy price. In Ogun State, southwest Nigeria, the government is enlisting the support of change agents, community leaders and development partners in the fight against the menace. The State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development reiterates the need for participants to speak out against gender-based violence.
Within the last 1 year and now, we have 3 additional sexual assault referral centers. The implication of that is that each zone in the state now has 1 sexual assault referral center. There is 1 in Ilaro, there is 1 in Abeokuta now, there is 1 in Ijebode, and we have the first one that was set up by UNFPA at Shagamu. But in addition to that, not just sexual assault referral centers, we have mini shelters attached to these sexual assault referral centers. We have 4-bedroom shelter in each of these SACs.
She also highlights some of the measures being put in place by the state government to provide holistic support for survivors.
With the consistent support of the forward-thinking governor, our dear state, Ogun State, has invested heavily in capacity building beyond infrastructure. Over 300 responders, including healthcare providers, law enforcement agents, and counselors, have been trained to handle GBV cases with professionalism and empathy.
The representative of the United Nations Population Fund and other participants call for the reintroduction of duty solicitors at police stations to restore victims' confidence that they will get justice.
We've given everybody an action point. Do a voice note of the numbers, the toll-free line, and send it out to all your contacts. The more people who know about the number, the more people who will be able to speak up and who will be able to report. And we said, because you are in the position of power, do not cover sexual and gender-based related crimes.
Also for girls, we need to tell them what violence is and how they can identify violence, especially sexual violence. Like what we did during this 16 days activism, we went to schools to inform them about form of violence and also to tell them that their body is their body.
After all said and done, the major consensus here remains that tackling the age-long challenge is still to a large extent a collective responsibility of communities who are encouraged to work together to stop the violence.
The Lagos State government says it's working towards a thriving economy powered by innovation and artificial intelligence. The State Deputy Governor, Mr. Kadri Hamzat, made this comment at the Art of Technology Lagos 6.0. He says the state government is committed to making Lagos a digital powerhouse in Africa by embracing advanced technologies like AI.
It's the 6th edition of Art of Technology Lagos at Landmark Event Center, Victoria Island, Lagos. Experts in the technology industry are all here to drive conversations on AI and its transformative impact on Lagos and beyond. The State Commissioner for Innovation, Science and Technology, Olatubosun Alake, says this year's Art of Technology is a milestone in the state government's mission to drive digital transformation across Lagos.
The state is investing heavily in its data architecture to be able to prepare not just the public service, but even the private sector as to how AI can be leveraged for better service delivery. And today, we are incentivizing startups. We want to increase that number and give a serious, dedicated vertical to AI products.
The conversation goes deeper as one of the panel sessions focuses on AI revolution and how to transform Lagos into Africa's digital powerhouse.
This is a disconnect that I see with most African and especially Nigeria innovators. When we are building, we only build for Nigeria, which is why my message today is you need to build with what? Global standard in mind. To build for the world, you must be able to answer 4 critical questions. And the very first question is, are you doing the right thing? Are you doing them the right way? That is an architecture question. Then, are you getting them done well? Is a delivery question. Because that's the only way we can create benefit and value.
By leveraging programs like Skills Build, Lagosians can bridge the AI skills gap and prepare for future opportunities in the evolving digital world.
The state deputy governor, Kadri Hamzat, highlights steps taken to digitalize all state services for easy interaction between citizens and government.
We have created an enabling environment that fosters innovation and positions Lagos as a global player in the technology value chain. We are extending Lagos fiber optic network by an additional 1,200 kilometers over the next year, complementing the existing 2,500 kilometers. This will significantly boost connectivity for businesses, our schools, hospitals, and of course, our residents. Within 24 months, Lagos will host world-class data centers, providing the backbone for scalable, innovative solutions. And that will include one built by Lagos State itself.
The Lagos state government says it is well prepared to embrace advanced technologies like AI and blockchain towards achieving its 2052 vision of building a Lagos that is all-inclusive and innovative.
Staying in Lagos State, the Lagos State Mortgage Board says over 20,000 residents have benefited from the Lagos Homes Housing Scheme across the state. This is according to the General Manager of the Lagos State Mortgage Board, Mr. Bayowa Forsyth, who made this known during a stakeholder meeting at the Chief Anthony Enaro Housing Estate in Ogba, Lagos. Mr. Forsyth encouraged some homeowners who fulfilled their 10-year payment obligation to continue to pay for insurance to secure their property in case of any unforeseen circumstances.
10 years ago, the Chief Anthony Naharo Housing Estate in the Ogba area of Lagos was conceptualized by the Lagos State government to provide affordable homes for residents of Lagos. The scheme, under the supervision of the Lagos State Mortgage Board, is one of the many schemes where allottees have completed their 10-year mortgage payment. General Manager of the State Mortgage Board, Bayowa Forsyth, and members of his team are here to meet with some of those that have received their exit certificates and others in waiting.
I actually came here with a speech, but when I was listening to Lasako, I was listening to environment, and I was just laughing inside because I know that most of these things you have already taken charge of. I know in terms of, we can't be 100%, but I know definitely that things are working here. You've had your own ups and downs, but obviously things are definitely working. I want to use this opportunity to congratulate many of you.
As the conversation progresses, representatives of the insurance companies and the Ministry of the Environment highlighted the benefits of insurance on the property, as well as the role of residents ensuring a clean environment.
The allottees are expected to pay what is called premium. So you pay your premium at the beginning of the policy. So if anything happens, then we put you back in the position you were before the loss. Then aside that, since most of the allottees they acquire this property based on mortgage stuff. That means that you have to do a mortgage insurance. That mortgage insurance is different from fire and special peril.
It is only in Lagos State that we have 24 hours water, 24/7 water in our public drain. The public drain is made for storm water. If you are using any water from your kitchen, your bedroom, all the water must go into your septic tank.
Some of the allottees commend the government for the initiative and also highlight the shortfalls of the insurance manager.
The truth is that we have very responsible residents, in both schemes. I mean, it's clear. You could even see the paintings that have gone up, making sure things are the way they should be. Yes, thank you, GM. Thank you so much. So we really appreciate, everyone. We also like the way the board communicates with us. Beautiful. You are doing a good job. We just need you on this aspect of exit, to make sure everything goes well. That we are not burdened again. That we exit successfully. I believe I'm speaking your mind, everyone. Thank you very much.
I wanted to say something because Lasako is here. I wanted to be ups and doing to whatever meeting, because if the lapses is in the hand of the broker, at least the way we were trained, a month to the expiry of any policy, there should be a kind of remind notice.
There was also a demonstration of how to tackle fire in case of any incident.
So, it's not a magic, but what has happened is that the oxygen that supports the fire burning has been cut out by the fire blanket, and that is smothering style of putting out fire.
As more allottees look forward to making their final exit payments, the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu now permits early exit on full payment from the mortgage rent to own contract for those who have spent a minimum of 6 years, which provides more revenue for government to build more affordable homes.
You're watching the Newsroom series on Channels Television. Coming up, harnessing the potentials of alternative medicine in Ondo State. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Nigeria is losing a lot of revenue due to failure to harness its potential in alternative and complementary medicine. And that's according to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ondo State, that is Ondo State University of Medical Sciences, Professor Adesegun Fatusi, who stated this while addressing a media conference at the main campus of the university in Ondo State. According to him, a professor of community health and public medicine, Nigeria is spending a lot in importing drugs sourced from herbal products which could be produced here locally. He says the university has taken up the challenge by introducing a degree program in alternative and complementary medicine that will collaborate with the pharmacy program for research and production of these drugs.
Do you believe that Nigeria, as big as we are and as old as we are in terms of our universities, we don't have a program to train speech therapists at graduate level? But today, we are proud to say, as a university, we started Nigeria's first Faculty of Medical Rehabilitation with 5 courses. And we are not just the first in Nigeria, we are the first university across West Africa to have a Faculty of Medical Rehabilitation. And we have 5 major courses there. There is no other university in this country that has more than 2 courses. And that was because those courses didn't exist in Nigerian curriculum until we came up and we wrote the template and we started working with them. So we are proud that today we have speech therapy degree program, we have audiology program, we have occupational therapy program, in addition to the more well-known speech therapies, and we also have procedure and orthotics.
Economists and behavioral scientists are saying a nation's culture and organizational structure is a critical factor in growth and development. The experts made these submissions at a seminar organized by the Nigerian Institute of Social and Economic Research, Ibadan, with the theme, The Heart of Success, How Organizational Culture and Behavior drives organizational effectiveness. The guest lecturer at the event, a senior fellow, Lagos Business School, Dr. Emmanuel Imafidon, notes that a nation or organization that prioritizes the development of a strong and positive culture, fostering environment, will witness a significant increase in productivity.
There is the national culture of Nigeria, which is driven by the value system of Nigeria. So there is an opportunity to continue to review those values to see how well they are helping the nation in its development. So that if there be any part of it that we don't think is working well for our success as a nation, we unlearn it. We find a way to move away from that value and embrace the value system that will see to our success.
The seminar's chairman, business and management consultant, Mr. Felucia Phillips, believes that organizations build foundations for long-term resilience, agility, and success through fostering a culture aligned with vision, strategies, and goals.
Don't forget that institutions are insulated against the personalities. The way we do things as an institution is the way anybody who comes in has got to comply. And when we develop a culture and the way and manner in which we do things, people come in and they comply with it and not continuously change it and create a continuous state of turbulence.
Meanwhile, the National Director General, Professor Antonia Simbine, describes the seminar as a reflection of ways organizational culture and behavior shape the effectiveness of public institutions, private enterprises, and civil society organizations.
Even the nation, a state, can be considered an organization of some sort. So if we all understand that the behavior and culture of wherever we find ourselves has an impact on the success that we want to achieve, or that we end up getting or not getting.
And finally, efforts towards an economically prosperous state appears to be crystallizing with the policies and programs of the Oyo State government. Commissioning a hybrid power plant at the State Secretariat in Ibadan, Governor Makinde says the project will help the state bridge the gap for power sufficiency within the Secretariat and its environs. The governor adds that an ambitious plan of 500-megawatt solar plant is underway to serve residents and businesses within Oyo State with clean energy and uninterrupted power supply.
This is Powerhouse, situated within the Oyo State Government Secretariat, Agudi, Ibadan, and where the energy requirements of Oyo State would be met. So as to kickstart the project, the Oyo State Governor is here to commission phase 1 of the 11-megawatt hybrid power plant.
We can look at our own power requirement and try to bridge the gap by ourselves without looking towards anyone else. And this is exactly what is the exact trajectory that we're on in Oyo State.
Within the same arena, Governor Makinde says a 500-megawatt solar energy project would sprout to supply power to a larger community of residents of Oyo State.
Not only will Oyo State be self-sufficient in generating its own power, we will also be exporting power. Not only locally, even internationally, because we share border with the Republic of Benin. We can easily sell power to industries in the Republic of Benin. So it's our ambition.
This project effectively kickstarts the state's vision for energy sufficiency and transition to cleaner energy, which will drastically reduce carbon emission across the state.
Under the leadership of His Excellency Governor Seyi Makinde, we have driven them hard, but they have delivered phase 1. And phase 1 is evidence of our power sector reforms for increased access, availability, and quality of electricity in our state.
The project is done in collaboration with investors from the private sector who are leveraging enablers provided by the Oyo State government and its commitment to make businesses thrive.
In subsequent phases, we'll be connecting several hospitals, judiciary complexes, and ultimately commercial and residential customers, eventually making it a fully embedded IPP.
Governor Seyi Makinde also reminds residents of the state and other investors that the $100 million investment deal signed with Shell has put machinery in motion for a gas pipeline infrastructure to support the energy sector projects of his administration, adding that this would equip the state as the destination of choice for investors and improve the livelihood for residents across the state. Bukola Oriowu, Channels Television News.
And that's it on Newsroom series today. Thank you for watching. I'm Olumide Macaulay.